Welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. On today's program, Walter Hubley and Damian Utar update us on the ongoings of the Quincy Rotary Club. First, though, take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, a little bit of hazy sunshine out there. It's 77 degrees right now. We will see some rain move in, but not till tonight. Could even be some thunder showers, but probably not till after dark this evening. Temperatures will dip into the mid-60s after a high right around 80 this afternoon, and really unsettled again this week. Tomorrow we've got a lot of clouds around, some rain in the morning with highs around 70 degrees. Afternoon showers and storms here on Wednesday, the high around 80. Looks like Thursday is the pick of the week right now, just a partly cloudy day with highs Thursday in the mid-70s. Again, hazy and 77 in Quincy right now. Checking out the news for you today, the home delivery service that's called GoPuff is back in business after the state recently suspended their alcohol delivery license for selling liquor to minors in Boston. Undercover state investigators say the drivers for GoPuff delivered alcohol to some freshman dormitories at Boston College recently without checking for proper identification, prompting the state to suspend their licenses across Massachusetts, including for the GoPuff in Quincy. Now, Quincy City Clerk Nicole Crispo says the city is keeping a close eye on the Quincy store, which is located on School Street in Quincy Center.
Was resolved by the state, so they're back up in business going forward, yes. We have our own concerns, and we certainly Lieutenant Paul Coughlin went down and spoke to them. It wasn't here in Quincy that the incident happened, but we made sure that we went down and let them know that, you know, the way that Quincy runs it along with the state, and to be sure to abide, and would be back in over the coming months to be sure that everything is being done according to state law.
The state accused GoPuff of 19 counts of delivering alcohol to minors and suspended their license. That license has since been reinstated after GoPuff put a number of measures in place to ensure that minors will not be able to purchase alcoholic beverages. A new 3-story, 15-unit mixed-use building has been approved for Washington Street in Quincy Point. The Zoning Board of Appeals unanimously approved of demolishing the existing single-story brick commercial building at 573 Washington Street and constructing the new building with commercial space on the first floor and 15 residential units above. The board chairman, Brian Radell, made the motion to approve the project despite some concerns about parking and encroaching on nearby residences.
Okay, it's the gateway to our city. We've done a lot of work on other gateways to our city. It's on the edge of a neighborhood. We're trying to preserve neighborhoods.
I know.
I understand the parking consensus. It's a bus route.
No, I know.
It's growth. I don't think you're going to see the issue that we kind of think we might see from parking. I just think that's the future, man. I like the project.
Yep.
I think they did a good job. I think it's well designed.
There will be 32 parking spaces under the new building, accessible only by Chubbuck Street. 15 of the spaces will be set aside for residents of the new condos. There'll be no vehicle access to the new building from Washington Street. The Planning Board has already approved of that project. Quincy City Council Finance Committee meets again tonight to review proposed salary increases for several department heads and other appointed positions in city government. Mayor Thomas Koch has proposed pay raises for positions including the police and fire chiefs, DPW and Public Buildings Commissioner, appointees in his office, the city clerk, and others. Mayor says Quincy needs to offer competitive wages in order to keep and attract qualified employees.
The reality is, in this market, if you compare to a lot of industry, a lot of other cities, we're way underpaid in many of the examples of department heads. Not all of them, but many of them, and many of the appointees. So we made some adjustments, just as we did on the school side with lunch workers and paraprofessionals and others that were way below market level. So make it more competitive. I do believe, most of our department heads love the city, love what they do, and have taken a hometown discount, and that's okay. But, the reality is they are professionals. They do deserve to be receiving a salary that really reflects the job they do, and certainly it compares to other cities and districts and towns or whatever it may be.
Those raises were recommended after a salary review by an outside consulting firm. The mayor is not proposing a pay increase for the mayor's position. City Council has already approved next year's city budget of $405 million, but called for tonight's special meeting specifically to focus on the proposed pay increases. Also tonight, the council will discuss proposals to borrow almost $14 million for improvements to the Furnace Brook Golf Course Clubhouse and Forbes Hill Park, and $4.5 million for upgrades to the Kennedy Center and North Quincy High School. A Holbrook man is facing a slew of gun and drug charges after a motor vehicle stop in Quincy on Friday. 22-year-old Giselle Robinson is charged with the illegal possession of a handgun, an illegal amount of marijuana, and having an open container of alcohol in his car. Police stopped Robinson near the Quincy Adams T station for having windows that were tinted too darkly. After an investigation, officers recovered the drugs, a loaded .25 caliber handgun, and alcohol. Police also say they recovered drug paraphernalia, including a scale and 2 cell phones. Robinson faces charges in Quincy District Courts. There's a brand new, fully handicapped accessible playground now located at the President's Golf Course in Quincy. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held recently for the playground at the golf course up in North Quincy. State Representative Bruce Ayers of Quincy was joined by other elected officials from Quincy and Milton and the Norfolk County Commissioners to officially dedicate the new playground. Ayers says that he helped to secure $75,000 in state funding to help with the construction of that new playground. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, we chat with Walter Hubley and Damian Utar of the Quincy Rotary Club. That's next. Welcome back. The Quincy Rotary Club is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. President Walter Hubley and board member Damian Utar have stopped on by to tell us what they've done in the past 100 years and what they're going to do in the next 100. Hey guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome. Great to see you both. Walter, great to see you again. Damian, you were here at a previous time representing the Rural Lodge of Masons.
Yes,
and
I
now
was.
you're involved with the Rotary as well. So welcome.
Thank you.
Walter, as I mentioned, 100 years old this year for the Quincy Rotary Club.
Yeah, I've been
How'd that
around a little while, but I'm not going to do a recap of the past 100 years.
All right.
Maybe the past year.
All right.
Okay, we might be able to fit that in.
I always like to start with the basics.
Yeah.
What is Rotary?
Yeah, so Rotary is a global service organization. There are about 1.4 million members across the world, and Quincy has a club that's been around for 100 years.
Wow.
We're celebrating our 100th year anniversary this fall. We are about 60 members, and we are made up of professionals from all walks of life, different points in our career. We have different people who are just starting out in their career, whatever it is. We have people who are retired who are members, pretty much spanning the gamut on all types of occupations. And then there's also a corresponding club at each high school called the Interact Club. We have one at Quincy High and at North Quincy High School. We used to have one at Woodward, and I've been talking to Alex over at Woodward about reinstating their club. So yeah, it's a service organization. Our motto is service above self, and we fulfill our mission through local service projects. We do fundraising, we support a lot of local organizations, and we also participate in some district-wide and global service projects.
Right. Explain kind of the breakdown of Rotary in terms of districts.
Yeah. So it's a global organization, and it's made up of different districts throughout each country. And the Quincy Club is part of the district that encompasses all of Rhode Island and southern Massachusetts and Cape Cod.
Okay.
Yep.
And is there kind of like a regional organization for the district, or is each chapter individually governed?
Yes. So each local club has its own leadership crew.
Okay.
Damien and myself are
On the
among
board,
them.
yeah.
And then there's a district level where members from each club form a district organization. And coming up to celebrate our 100th anniversary, Angela Ponte, a local business person and Quincy Club member, is going to become the district leader.
And that's going to be held here in Quincy?
Yep. We're doing a installation ceremony next week over at Granite Links, and we're talking about ideas on how to celebrate our 100 years of service.
100 years of service, yes. Such as?
Well, so we've done a number of different projects, and Damien's going to speak more specifically to one that we did just recently.
Great.
But we work with Quincy Public Schools. We've done book collections for, I think it was Zambia. We partnered with some of the staff at Quincy Public Schools for that. We participated in Reads Across America, if you're aware of that effort. We also helped out with Cagney's Toys for Tots toy drive, and so a whole bunch of things. I want to say we do a little bit more than one in-person service project per month.
Per month? Okay.
Yeah, whether that's feeding the hungry, working at a food pantry, any number of things. So if members of our club all get together and work on different service projects, and we a little bit more than one per month each year.
Okay, all right. And do you have separate committees for each of these different projects?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a service project committee chair that identifies which projects we're going to take on throughout the year and when we're going to do it, and then they organize the volunteers, and then each member gets an opportunity to lead an individual effort that they're interested in. Yeah.
You mentioned some of the big ones. What's coming up for the rest of the year?
So I am just finishing up my year as president for the club.
Okay.
In terms of service projects, the next incoming Margaret LaForest will be our next president, and she's going to set up her schedule for service projects. So we just wound down the final one, which we'll talk about here today.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Damien, we need to first of all welcome you.
Thank you.
As the new community liaison for the city of Quincy. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Talk a little bit about how that role came about.
So, about 2 years ago, there was a lot of conversations around how, as a city, we could be responsive in a way that is diverse and equitable and inclusive of the citizenry. And so the mayor commissioned a study, and I believe there were 2 city councilors who were part of that study, and they came back with a recommendation of this role. So that's the purpose of that role.
Okay. And what did you see in that you thought you could do some good in that role?
So my background, I'm training in social work and mental health services, and first of all, this is a city that I love tremendously.
A 20-year resident, right?
20, a little over 20 years.
Okay.
I've lived here, and so I bring a very unique perspective as someone who is a transplant to the city, and I see a lot of really great things happening in the city. And so I think I'm in a really, really unique position to speak to a lot of the issues as they are presented. I'm currently actively doing sort of a listening tour, going around and hearing from all the constituents what they feel the issues are, and then sort of developing a plan, working with the administration to be as responsive as possible and be very accessible to the residents. So I bring a certain organizational background in terms of the administrative piece, but also the social service piece in terms of understanding both sides of whatever the social issues might be. And so I believe I bring that very unique perspective.
Okay.
And I hope to bring that to the role.
Yeah, I know you had some background with the State Department of Mental Health, so you have
Yes.
some counseling exposure as well.
Yep.
You have children in the Quincy Public Schools, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I have 2 children in the Quincy Public Schools. So, as they would say, I do have skin in the game.
Right.
In really to ensure that it continues to be a city that continues to thrive.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy that I have a role to play in its success.
So how will your role as a board member in the Quincy Rotary Club, help you achieve that goal?
Well, so I've been a Rotarian now for about 4 years, 4 to 5 years. And, knowing that we're so, in many ways, there's a lot of parallel activities. As I will speak to in just a moment, I led the project, the QPS Literacy Project, where we went into all the all the elementary schools and read to the first graders. But being a Rotarian, it really helped to expose me throughout the length and fabric of the city. Participating, there are folks in the club who have been members for over 50 years.
It's amazing.
And
Yeah.
folks who have just joined within the past year.
Yeah.
And it's a very active and vibrant club. They have members who are plugged in to the culture of the city. And I think in many ways, I can leverage that in better understanding the fabric of the city. And that I think is very crucial in being effective at this new role that I have.
Right, as we talked before the program, they experience two very different Quincy's, right? Folks
Right.
that are just coming to the city as opposed to those who've been here 50 plus years.
Right.
Yeah, two very
Right.
different experiences.
Right, and that's really the nucleus of the listening tour.
Right.
To really hear from residents who have been here, 80, 90 years, and folks who have just moved in within the past year, and really hearing all the various perspectives.
Part of that is meeting the newest generation, right?
Indeed.
The youngsters in the elementary schools. So you read to the kids.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did. This is my second year doing it. As I was mentioning to Walter. Before I segue into
Yeah.
that, I would like to thank Walter, our current but outgoing president, for his support, and also the support of the immediate past president. So it's a project whereby we go to all 11 schools, all 11 elementary schools, read to a total of about 700 students.
Wow.
And myself and 5 other volunteers.
Oh, okay.
And so we selected a book.
Yes, hold that up.
Called, where should I point it? This way?
That's good. A
Yeah.
little higher, a little bit higher. There you go.
And so the idea of the project is we read to the first graders and we engage them, right? And we try to find themes that are sort of reality based. So this book in particular talked about, this bear sort of being grumpy. And so we asked the students, what do you do when you feel grumpy? Do you ever feel grumpy? And even though they were first graders, I was really struck by just how they were able to process that and how they were able to take lessons learned from this book and how they would apply it in the real world,
Okay.
even though they're in the first grade. But I would also like to really take this opportunity to thank
Please, yeah.
the district. This is the second year we're doing it, or at least the second year I'm leading the effort. And Nisa Fratolio, she was the point person that I worked with in really getting the schedules with all the schools. And this year was especially challenging because there was a lot of collective bargaining negotiations
Yes,
going on
that's
round
right.
about the time we were trying to put the schedules
see,
together.
okay.
But yet, folks were flexible. They worked with us, came up with a schedule, and they were very responsive when we got there to read to the students. All the first grade teachers, they were just happy warriors
Is that right?
in this project.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great to hear.
And so it was really a success. And so I would really like to thank those individuals and also the other 5 Rotarians who volunteered with me in doing this.
Yeah, you can't read to 700 kids all by yourself, right?
Oh no, I wouldn't take that on.
So it's, what, about 5, 6 years old? Is that about the age range these days?
Yes.
First grade?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But you were impressed, you say, by
Very, very. Interestingly, I went to about 4 to 5 different schools.
Okay.
And about 3 separate first grader, when I asked, what are some of the things that you do to when you feel grumpy? And they actually said meditation. And they actually explained it in a way that it was clear to me that they understood.
Is that right?
One student actually demonstrated what he did, and he
Okay.
assumed a Zen-like pose. And it just gives me reason to really be happy about sort of what's happening in the schools
Yes.
and the impact that the various teachers and I'm sure the parents are having on these kids.
Well, exactly right. It starts in the home. So,
Yes,
yeah, very good.
absolutely.
So you'll do it again, it sounds like.
Yes, we are thinking about doing that. The incoming president, I believe she responded affirmatively. I think I saw an email. I haven't read it yet, but I believe she responded affirmatively in us doing it again for a 3rd year.
Okay, all right. So will you use the Rotary Club, Damien, as part of your overall mission to reach out to the community, to
Yes, I
take
think
the
that-
pulse of what's important
Yeah,
to people?
that would be a natural platform to
Okay.
do so because again, at this point it's just using all the various spaces
Yes.
to connect with the community, and the Rotary Club will be one.
Okay.
of
Okay.
one such platform.
Yep.
But there will be many others.
Okay. So you'll be pulled in many different directions, I'm sure.
And it's a one-man show.
That's
I mean,
exactly
this
right,
position is brand new,
Yes.
and there is no department per se.
Right.
So a part of my approach is really to connect with like minds and to create a bit of a synergy in this effort. And the Rotary Club is one such organization.
Sure, sure. Are you still involved with the Masons as well?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's a different experience, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna be getting a lot of requests, I think.
Well, there's a formula and there's a strategy to be responsive.
Yeah. All right. Well, we look forward to that. Please, you consider us here at QATV part of that overall trajectory, if you will, to reach out to the.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. What else is going on, Walter?
I was going to say the Rotary Club is actually a unique avenue for Damien to get more in touch with the community in different sectors of it. So we mentioned earlier all the work that Rotary does with Quincy Public Schools.
Yeah.
We do the service project that Damien led. We also do a similar thing on swimming safety with Josh the Otter. We've been doing that for years, reading books to the students. But we're also involved in the senior community as well, the veteran community. So Rotary really kind of touches all different parts of the community. So I think it's a great opportunity for Damien.
Who can be a Rotarian, and how does that happen?
So 18 or older.
Okay.
And doesn't matter what your profession is, doesn't matter what your background is. We have members, as I said earlier, of all different areas of life, from business owners like Bob Curry and Ed Cohane, Dolly DePisa from DePisa CPA, as well as retired teachers and people who are still teachers, and so every range. And myself, I'm in affordable housing, so yeah, we've got all. And then you just go to our website, QuincyRotary.com, and there's a registration process and so forth. Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward.
And I know you're readjusting the fees, but it's manageable, right?
Yeah. We're, as part of our DEI effort, actually through the district, for the past 2 years, the Quincy Rotary Club has met certain stages of progression through the DEI framework that the district has put out. Okay. This past 2 years, we were awarded both level 1 and then more recently level 2. And these are things like having inclusionary statements, making sure there are inclusionary images, making sure that the fee schedule could be approachable for different folks in different situations, which is what we're currently looking at. But yeah, there is a fee as being part of the membership. We meet each week for lunch and sometimes in the evening. So we meet every week where we have either a speaker at our meeting or some other type of topic that we're tackling, and in some cases an actual service project that we'll be working on at each weekly meeting.
Okay, at the Common Market, I see.
Yeah, the Common Market, exactly. And then we also have annual events. So we have a Veterans Day program, we have a Thanksgiving program. We have the Thanksgiving program brings in both high school athletic teams and cheerleading and so forth, and so that's a big banquet that we have. We also award a lot of scholarships to Quincy Public Schools.
Sure.
So this past year, with a Rotary scholarship was about $32,000 that we contributed to different students, and then we oversee the nursing scholarship and also the Galvin Foundation scholarship for the study of history.
Okay. All right.
So we do that, and we raise money through different events that we hold throughout the year, sometimes small raffles, and also we have an annual gala. This past year we had a derby theme. In my year we had a 1970s groovy gala theme.
No kidding. Okay.
And people were encouraged to embrace those themes as much as they were comfortable. It was a lot of fun.
Bell-bottoms and white
well,
leather
there you
shoes?
go. There you go. I didn't go the bell-bottom route.
Okay.
But yeah, so we have great events. We have a lot of fun times. We have annual parties that we hold. It's just a great organization. I encourage everyone to go to our website, and there's a good chance you know a Rotarian. There's a lot of us. There's about 60 of us in the city, and there are people who have been members of the past. And it's a great organization if you're looking to contribute to something locally, be a part of something globally. I mean, when I met with members at the beginning of the year, the first thing I asked in my presidency was, why Rotary? Why are you a Rotarian? And through those conversations, what I learned is people like to serve locally. They like to help out at a food kitchen. They like to help out with the schools. They like to help out with the veterans associations. And they like to build friendships through that work.
Right.
And then they also have a certain amount of pride in being part of a global community that is Rotary. And every town you go to, just about, there's a Rotary Club. And this is all over the world. And if you're traveling and out and about, you're welcome to join a Rotary Club lunch in whatever city you're in. And it's a great community. And it's widely known for being responsible for pretty much eradicating polio throughout the world.
That's
There's still
right.
work to do.
Yeah.
That's one of the more famous, claim to fames that Rotary has.
Right. Not to mention the local chapter getting involved in a project in Thailand.
That's right. All right. So under Sheriff Pat McDermott's leadership, when he was president of Rotary a few years ago, both Margaret LaForest and Dolly DePisa, two members, spearheaded a global grant which brought in a total of just under 200,000, I think it was.
Incredible,
And we were able to fund the construction of what we call the Thrivable Farm over in Thailand for an organization called Friends of Thai Daughters. So Friends of Thai Daughters is an organization started by a few folks here in the United States, and it helps rescue kids from human trafficking
Yes.
in Thailand from a lot of the hillside villages. And so this past year, we, a group of us, myself, my wife Catherine, and Margaret and her husband Jeff and Dolly, and Pat McDermott and his wife Tracy all got to go over to Thailand and spend a couple of weeks and just spend time with the girls and see the farm and what was able to be produced.
Really making an impact on that country and on those people for a long time to come.
Yeah, there's such a high risk because a lot of the children in particularly the hill tribe villages, there's no documentation
Right.
like birth certificate and other things, and so they're really at risk for human trafficking. So that organization does amazing things. I encourage people to reach out and support them. Yeah.
Good to talk to you both. Appreciate it very much, and keep us up to date on the 100th anniversary of the
Yep.
Quincy Rotary Club.
Will do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having
You're
us.
very welcome. Just enough time to check the forecast for you for the rest of the day. Today, we'll see increasing cloudiness with temperatures right around 80 this afternoon. The rain arrives tonight. Could be some heavy downpours overnight into tomorrow morning. More unsettled weather here on Wednesday and better on Thursday. Thanks again to Walter Jubilee and Damien Utar for joining us from the Quincy Rotary Club. Thank you to our crew, and thank you for watching. On Friday, we learned about the new Quincy College Bachelor's Program in Psychology. Meantime, check out our website. It's qatv.org. Our latest programs, news and information, video on demand, live streaming, and more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great week.